Community office closed. Why residents of a mobile home park are again sharing their concerns publicly. A Saskatchewan man one step closer to being sentenced for a killing 20 years ago. What the victim's family is sharing in court. And how Saskatoon might be about to take a quantum leap.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a story we brought you earlier this month about residents at a mobile home community fighting against their rising cost of monthly fees. After we spoke to some homeowners, the community office closed its doors, leaving residents unsure of what's next. Hallie Mandrick has the latest.
This office used to be an important point of contact between the residents of Sunset Estates Mobile Home Park and the landowner, Compass Communities. But following our previous story on CTV featuring residents expressing concern about the steadily increasing monthly fees, it's been closed with no indication of when the office will reopen.
They worked really closely with the community, and they worked really closely with the community associations. They were a part of this just as much as I am. It's really unfortunate to see that we have no access to that anymore.
With some reporting big increases in fees, a recent community meeting was held where residents helped one another file individual applications with the Office of Residential Tenancies, something the ORT previously advised as the best way to flag their concerns. Mackay says the sudden closure of the office has been jarring for the community, adding that resources like physical fee payments and the community pantry have also been halted as a result.
It's vastly different from walking down to the store and saying hello and seeing a happy face that was there to clarify any questions that you have, right? It's completely different from what it used to be.
In a statement to CTV News, Compass Communities did not say what prompted the office closure, but shared, quote, "We are currently hiring a person for the community office role. In the meantime, our maintenance worker is on site throughout the week to address resident needs. Our regional manager was on site the week of March 17th and spoke with residents."
Everybody is pretty stressed. They just want it to be over. They want the rent to go back to a position of affordability. It's extremely hard to see our seniors being pushed out of their homes. Right now, like I said, we had the count is 11 homes that are going up for sale.
In the meantime, Mackay shared that more than 15 applications have been individually filed to the ORT from Sunset Estates, with more to come from residents hoping to see intervention at the provincial level. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, near Saskatoon.
A sentencing hearing began today for a man found guilty in the murder of a Regina man 20 years ago. Several victim impact statements were read in court, along with testimony from experts in the fields of corrections and psychiatry. Jacob Carr was at Court of King's Bench and has more.
4 victim impact statements were read by members of Misha Pavlik's family here at Court of King's Bench at the sentencing hearing for the man convicted of killing him, each referencing the lasting effects that this nearly 20-year-old case has had on them. 19-year-old Pavlik was fatally stabbed at a graduation party near Regina Beach in May of 2006. A 37-year-old Regina man who was 17 at the time of Pavlik's death and cannot be named due to the Youth Criminal Justice Act was found guilty of second-degree murder in November. The first victim impact statement read in court was from Misha's sister, Kathleen Marshall. Reading, "What was taken from me was not just my brother, but a lifetime of memories, experiences that he was meant to have. Misha mattered. His life mattered, and the impact of losing him is something I will carry for the rest of my life." Misha's father, Lauren Pavlik, spoke about his son's love for sports like golf and people, saying, "I would give anything to hear him say, 'Dad, let's play around one more time.'" The two also shared a love of music, according to Lauren. "I am heartbroken. I will never again experience a chat together or play on stage together. He was not just my son, but the type of person that the world genuinely needed more of." As part of the day's proceedings, a member of the Correctional Service of Canada was brought in to explain the differences between sentencing the guilty party as a youth as opposed to as an adult, and a licensed psychiatrist to be questioned by the Crown and the defense about the guilty party's mental state, both at the time of the murder and at present. The sentencing proceedings are expected to continue through Thursday before a decision is handed down, with more testimony set for Wednesday. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The community of Speeton has suffered a significant loss with the roof of the local recreation center collapsing. The mayor of Speeton says the collapse happened at about 1:30 a.m., so the building was not in use. The fire department is asking residents to keep their distance from the structure for safety purposes. The mayor told CTV the building covers a full acre of land and has been standing for about 50 years. The building houses 3 sheets of curling ice, a rink, and an auditorium used for village meetings. Well, Jeff, the sun made all the difference out there today.
It made the radiant heat of the sun. And of course, once it hits some asphalt, it holds on to that heat because of the dark color. But yes, it was nice to have the sun out, and it did make a difference. The temperature is still below seasonal, but fairly pleasant in many, many respects. Now, we are going to be seeing a warm up, and it doesn't look as though we've got a lot in the way of precipitation, but there's something brewing up in Alberta that could create some problems, and we'll talk about that later on.
If you're heading west out of town in the coming days, you can expect some traffic delays. The province says work to rehabilitate the eastbound Highway 7 bridge over the rail lines 3 kilometers west of the city will begin tomorrow. The province says to accommodate the work, all traffic will be diverted to the westbound bridge for two-way traffic. It says the eastbound bridge was built in 1962 and is nearing the end of its service life, requiring the work to be done now. $7.1 million in funding has been committed by the Saskatchewan government for the work, which is expected to be complete by the late fall. The city of Saskatoon is reminding residents that a provincial ban on pruning elm trees begins tomorrow. It comes as Saskatoon saw a record number of Dutch elm disease cases last year at 41. Earlier this year, the city warned that Dutch elm has spread citywide and that its complete prevention is no longer feasible. The provincial ban will remain in effect until August 31st. People are also reminded not to bring elm wood into Saskatoon and dispose of it only at the landfill. Dutch elm disease is caused by a fungus spread by elm bark beetles that breed under the bark of dead or dying elm wood. The Saskatchewan Teachers Federation is launching a public awareness campaign about education funding. In the provincial budget earlier this month, funding to the 27 school divisions in Saskatchewan was increased by nearly 2.6%. The STF says when specialized supports, inflation, and enrollment growth are factored in, this represents a decrease in per-student funding. Now the STF is calling on people to write an email to their MLA to keep public pressure on the provincial government to increase funding.
Acknowledge that public education is a priority for their constituents. Explain how these funding decisions will affect schools and students locally, and outline what actions they will need to take within their caucus to advocate for students, families, and communities.
CTV contacted the Ministry of Education for comment, but did not hear back in time for broadcast. Agriculture leaders are applauding Health Canada's decision to allow for the temporary use of strychnine to help farmers control the gopher population. The recent move comes after Saskatchewan and Alberta applied for emergency use. But as Mick Favel tells us, some are still worried about its toxic effects.
Gophers are already making their presence known throughout parts of Saskatchewan, and as temperatures rise, producers may have the same problem as last year with overpopulation. But thanks to a recent federal government approval, they now have the option to use strychnine to help address the issue.
What we have is an emergency use now for 18 months, so we'll get it this year and next year as well.
The poison is now approved for 7 crop districts in the province, areas chosen using data from the Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation. The Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities supports the decision for strychnine use, saying it is an effective solution, though the timing isn't ideal.
By the time we get it in our hands, it's going to be in June or mid-June. We're not 100% sure of that timing, but it's almost too late for this season.
In March 2020, Health Canada announced strychnine use would be phased out. 3 years later, Saskatchewan officially banned it for a number of reasons, particularly it being a highly toxic poison threatening the lives of not just gophers.
It also poses a significant danger to some species at risk. Strychnine also poses a serious risk to humans who may come into contact or be exposed by it, and can kill companion dogs who ingest poisoned baits. And this was happening before the ban was put in place.
Huber says SARM understands the dangers of strychnine and will talk to their members about safe, responsible use.
Species at risk are certainly area of concern. We don't want to have any of those other, animals that can be affected by this or poisons. We're going to be very careful and make sure our producers know exactly how to use the product.
Alberta has also been given temporary approval to use strychnine with the same timeline. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
The University of Saskatchewan has a new toy that will help lead a new era of research. As Keenan Sorokon reports, it could reposition the university as a new hub for years to come.
The University of Saskatchewan is taking a quantum leap. A new computer is putting the province in exclusive company that will help reshape advancements for years to come. These components will eventually make up the first quantum computer on any campus in Canada, where near endless possibilities in research and innovation will begin.
The candle is to the light bulb as the ordinary computing chip is to this. That's the leap that we're talking about.
Stephen Ryan has been waiting for this moment since he first cracked open a textbook 25 years ago. Holding a $1 million hockey puck, this processing chip allows for complex calculations to run at rapid speed.
These qubits in this chip, each one is not an on-off switch, it's a dimmer switch. It can be on, off, or anything in between. And that anything in between is what makes this so much more powerful than an ordinary computer.
Agriculture, energy, and human health could all change under quantum computing, like testing vaccines against a concerning pathogen in minutes instead of a year.
Could we run through, again, all the different possibilities all at once, side by side, and say, that's the one that's going to work? If we could do that in a few minutes, I think that's a real game changer.
Using nearly $2.5 million of federal and provincial funding, delegates weren't holding back about how this positions the U of S amongst its peers.
And these advancements, they're not theoretical. They represent practical opportunities to solve real problems.
It sends the signal that Saskatchewan is not simply preparing for the future, we're helping to shape it, and I would say we're leading it.
What was once a theory that could only be taught in textbooks will now be installed and available for researchers and students next fall. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
With more diet-conscious consumers, companies are offering more products rich in protein. Sarah D'Souza Butts on where that's being sourced and what it means when it comes to nutrition.
AGT Foods says the crops produced in Saskatchewan are naturally high in protein and fiber.
The addition of a natural protein from lentils and peas are giving 18 grams of protein per single serving.
It's one additive used to increase the amount of protein found in pastas, bread, and even cereal.
They're looking for 24 grams of protein per serving, 8 to 10 grams of dietary fiber. I mean, who doesn't want that in the chips or the crackers or the cookies that they're eating?
With the demand for foods rich in protein rising, so are the number of options on the shelves at grocery stores.
If you're looking at a regular whole wheat bread or bagel, you might get 5 or 6 grams of protein from those whole grains. In these newer protein targeted products, the protein is almost twice as much.
To help create that additional protein, whole food based ingredients such as protein powder and skim milk may also be included.
The future for protein is very, very strong.
As the shortage of protein continues globally, Protein Industries Canada says the country has an opportunity to fill the gap.
Whether it's driven from GLP-1 drugs in North America or whether it's the Asian market, that you have 60% of your global population getting only about 50% of their daily protein in the diet. They simply don't get enough protein in products like rice. So it's a wonderful opportunity for Canada to make it here.
While plant-based protein foods are just as healthy as protein found in meat, JM Nutrition says prioritizing micronutrients is also important.
We're so focused on protein. Are we missing some of these other micronutrients, right? What's the fiber content of these products? Is there still a good amount of iron and those kinds of foods that also help keep us healthy and happy?
Also encouraging people to read the nutrition labels on products before consuming. Sarah D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, critics take aim at Ottawa's gun buyback program. Also, the extra fees Canadians could be facing. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. The deadline for the federal government's controversial gun buyback program is today. The Trudeau government banned assault-style firearms 6 years ago, incentivizing people who owned them to turn them in for cash. After today, you can still turn them in for free, and critics are calling the program a failure. Judy Trin reports on the deadline and where Ottawa goes from here.
The federal government is missing its target for the voluntary gun buyback program on soon-to-be outlawed weapons. $250 million was set aside to compensate gun owners. So far, 57,000 guns have been declared, much less than the 136,000 firearms the federal government expected. The government blames it on misinformation online that overstates the types of firearms that are included.
There's just 2,500 models that were banned. It leaves 19,000 models on the market, so people can still hunt, can still sport shoot.
The ban on 2,500 models of assault-style weapons came after 22 people were killed in a 2020 shooting rampage in Portapique, Nova Scotia. The government is offering to buy back the weapons for $150 up to more than $10,000, depending on the model. But the process is confusing for some.
The average demographic of the owners of these firearms is over 65 years of age, and their ability to navigate online portals is not very good. And they're having a very difficult time adhering to the, to the procedures the government's put in place for this.
Alberta and Saskatchewan don't support the federal program, and most police services across the country will not help collect the firearms. The National Gun Lobby is also mounting a legal challenge.
I worry about the enormous waste of resources and efforts on this program that could have instead been focused on reducing crime, violence, gun smuggling.
The ban on assault-style weapons takes effect at the end of October. The Supreme Court of Canada has also agreed to hear the appeal launched by the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights, but the court has yet to set a date. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal excise tax on beer, wine, and spirits is going up another 2% tomorrow, and as of today, passport fees have gone up. As CTV's Rachel Ayala reports, whether you're heading out for a pint or renewing your passport, you're likely going to be paying a bit more due to federal price increases.
Restaurant and bar owners are already feeling squeezed.
There's only so much we could raise pricing. I've had a new menu ready to be rolled out for about a month now.
The coming tax hike on alcohol is typically tied to inflation, but CTV News has learned Ottawa is extending its 2% cap on it for 2 more years.
I'm glad it's not going more than 2%.
The April 1st increase is estimated to generate millions, coming on top of the revenue boost the government is getting from high gas prices. Asked today if the Prime Minister is considering cutting taxes for Canadians in return, Mark Carney wouldn't say.
We'll have a fiscal event in the spring with the spring update, and that would be the right time to fully answer that question.
The cap is meant to stabilize costs ahead of a busy tourist season. But for those planning to travel abroad, as of today, you'll also be paying more for a new passport. For applications within Canada, the cost of a regular 10-year adult passport has jumped $3.50. A 5-year adult passport costs $2.50 more, and a 5-year child's passport now costs $1.50 more. This is the first increase in passport fees since 2013.
By increasing costs on travel documents like a passport, it makes it harder to get to our destination, and this has an impact on tourism.
And this may not be the end of price increases. The federal government, under what's called the Service Fees Act, says it will now be updating certain prices annually based on inflation. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada Post says it's going to begin discussions on ending door-to-door mail delivery. The Crown Corporation made the announcement in a statement regarding its transformation to become more sustainable. It says it's reaching out to bargaining agents for consultations about proposed changes, which include switching addresses, which still receive delivery at the door to community mailboxes. Following that, Canada Post will then reach out to municipal officials and other stakeholders. Air Canada has been hit with a fine of more than $420,000 for violating federal rules on passenger rights during the flight attendant strike last summer. More than 10,000 flight attendants went on strike last August, disrupting thousands of flights across the country. According to the Canadian Transportation Agency, Air Canada committed 71 violations of air passenger protection regulations between August 15th and August 20th of last year. The agency says the airline failed to, at the passenger's choice, provide refunds for any unused portion of the tickets. The agency also says Air Canada failed to provide passengers free of charge with a confirmed reservation for the next available flight that is operated by any carrier. Former politician and longtime social activist Stephen Lewis has died. Lewis was the son of David Lewis, who led the federal NDP in the early 1970s, while Stephen served as leader of the Ontario NDP. He also spent more than 2 decades with the United Nations, including spending time as Canada's ambassador to the UN. In 2003, Lewis co-founded the Stephen Lewis Foundation, which has raised more than $200 million for grassroots organizations fighting AIDS in Africa. Lewis died following a battle with cancer. He was 88 years old. The Canadian government is condemning the Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon, calling it illegal.
It's a violation of their territorial sovereignty, integrity, and sovereignty. And the point I was making as well, from a practical perspective, the government of Lebanon has banned Hezbollah. Is taking action, is trying to take action against Hezbollah and their terrorist activities and their threats to Israel, and that is the purported justification for this invasion.
Mark Carney is also calling for a ceasefire. The Israelis invaded after Hezbollah began launching missiles into northern Israel 2 days after Iran was attacked. Many Lebanese now fear another prolonged military occupation. An unfortunate side effect of the glamour and excitement of World Cup fever are the scam artists already taking advantage of fans clamoring for tickets and hoping to witness a piece of sports history. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now with a cautionary tale and tips to protect yourself.
David steps up and finishes coolly.
The authenticity of Canada's men's soccer team is well documented, yet the lead up to co-hosting the World Cup is now fraught with fraud.
Fraudsters try to capitalize on vulnerabilities. They know that so many Canadians and people outside of Canada want to attend these events.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre confirms they're now working with the RCMP, Vancouver, and Toronto Police ahead of this June's World Cup as they work to weed out bad actors across the country and beyond.
I was embarrassed to even tell my wife, and I was actually embarrassed to do this interview, to be fair, because I'm in my 40s, man.
Adonis Ibrahim runs a rec soccer league in Windsor, Ontario. Like many, he's desperate to get his hands on a World Cup ticket. He ended up on Facebook Marketplace, where he shared that he was looking for a single ticket to Canada's opener in Toronto. Someone, apparently named Ava Green, sent Ibrahim this message. They agreed on a price of $400, half of which he paid up front. The tickets never arrived.
I was taken advantage of, and I'm doing this because I don't want it to happen to anyone else.
Fans are also being duped into paying for World Cup rental properties that don't exist. Counterfeit merchandise is also on the rise. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre is advising individuals to only use FIFA's verified exchange platform for resale tickets. Avoid third-party sites selling tickets and merchandise. For short-term rentals, be cautious if the price appears too good to be true. Use a credit card with fraud protection whenever possible when making a purchase.
Don't get scammed. It's not a good feeling.
With Team Canada preparing to take on the world, Ibrahim has been left still searching for a single ticket to fulfill a lifelong dream.
There are still some more affordable, legitimate tickets available for the 2 upcoming friendlies in Edmonton and Montreal before Team Canada officially kicks off its World Cup right here at BMO Field on June 12th. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, Jeff, the snow is behind us for the week, and temperatures are actually looking up.
They are looking up. We expect to see warmer temperatures as we make our way into the weekend. Now, it might be a bit of a undulating situation in terms of warmer and then colder, warmer and then colder. And I just don't mean in the overnight period. So our daytime highs will at least for one day, be above seasonal, but it might only be one day here in Saskatoon. Down south, it might be a lot warmer. So let's take a quick look at what we've got going on here. -2 in Saskatoon, -4 in Prince Albert, -1 in the Battlefords. For our almanac today, -1, that's as warm as it got, but that felt warmer. 5 degrees is typical for this time of year. 16 in 1991 was the record warm temperature, and the sun is going to go down at 7:39.
Coming up, caught on camera, how the late night munchies is providing some endless entertainment for some.
Cup is right around the corner. You can see it right here on CTV, and we're going to get you fired up for it with the World Class Players Cup. It's happening in Regina. We're teeing up the major indoor tournament.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. Some blue sky breaking through the cloud deck. So we've had ourselves a relatively sunny day, and the temperatures certainly felt warmer, even though they were still below seasonal. Let's take a look and see what's going on with our satellite and radar shot here. Actually, it's been a relatively quiet situation out in British Columbia for the last day and a half or so, but we do expect to see more moisture returning to BC. If that's taking you, your travels are taking you out that way, you can expect some rainy and snowy conditions depending on where you are. Relatively quiet across the prairies, but a system is coming up from the States, and that is going to impact parts of southern Alberta. Now, whether or not that expands a little further than we anticipate and moves into Saskatchewan, it doesn't have it. We don't have it in our forecast right now, but it is a possibility. And a messy situation continues to be messy out in Ontario and Quebec and ultimately the Atlantic region. This same system that brought us the snow is making its way out to the east coast. -2 degrees in Saskatoon, -4 in Prince Albert, -1 in the Battlefords, and as you can see, moderate to breezy conditions, as you can see there, from mostly a southerly flow. Maple Creek, the hot spot at 4 degrees. Key Lake, the cold spot at -24. Around the province we go. -1 in Lloydminster, -2 in Swift Current, -3 in Moose Jaw, -4 in Regina, and -5 right now in both Yorkton and Estevan. Into central Saskatchewan and parts of the northern grain belt, temperatures ranging 8 degrees from 0 in Meadow Lake down to -8. That's in Watrous. A lot of other locations sort of hanging around that -6 degree mark, but it's closer towards the western side of the province, a little warmer than that. Up north, temperatures don't drop off big time. In fact, it's +1 right now in La Ronge, the coolest it gets on this part of our map, -7 in Collins Bay. And down south, we've got ourselves 3 degrees in Maple Creek, -3 in Elbow and Outlook. And then as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, as you can see, a little cooler, temperatures of -6 right now in Broadview and Carlisle. Here we go with our future cast, with the computer modeling not indicating a lot in the way of precipitation, a little something in northern areas, but the pressure lines are getting a little closer together, so we do expect a bit of a breezy day tomorrow, with wind gusts up around 40 kilometers an hour for a large part of the province. 2 on the plus side for La Ronge, -2 for Stony Rapids tomorrow, 0 in Buffalo Narrows, 1 in Key Lake. Temperatures hanging around that 2 degree mark, let's say, for west central Saskatchewan under mainly cloudy skies. Double-digit temperatures with sunshine in Maple Creek, 6 in Leader, 2 in Outlook, 7 in Swift Current. Regina expected to hit 1 degree, a little warmer in Moose Jaw, a little cooler in Yorkton and Estevan, and temperatures in and around that 0 degree mark for east central Saskatchewan, with cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. For the Battlefords, dropping off to -7 tonight, 1 degree tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies, a bit breezy, and then getting up to 6 on Saturday and 2 on Easter Sunday. Prince Albert's overnight temperature -12 degrees, mainly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 0, warming up for the weekend, 4 on Saturday, 2 on Eastern Sunday. And finally for Saskatoon, an overnight temperature of -10 degrees with a bit more in the way of cloud cover, and a cloudy day in store for Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it's cloudy and -1, but then on the plus side for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, getting up to 6 degrees on both Saturday and Tuesday.
I'm getting the best gift of my life. I'm getting the chance to see you, to perform for you once again in Paris.
Celine Dion celebrated her 58th birthday yesterday with a look ahead to her upcoming performances in Paris. The star says she is doing great after the diagnosis of an incurable autoimmune disorder in 2022, which forced her off the stage. The Eiffel Tower was lit up last night to mark the countdown to her comeback concert series in Paris. Her run of shows, 10 shows, begins on September the 12th. Taylor Swift is being sued over the name of her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. The lawsuit, filed by Marin Flagg, who performs under the stage name Marin Wade, alleges Swift violated trademark rights. In the filing, Wade claims that marketing for Swift's album threatened to drown out her long-running stage show called Confessions of a Showgirl, and asked the court to block Swift from causing confusion with her album title. Neither Swift's spokespeople nor her music label have responded to the allegations.
Crypto and I at least had each other. Honestly, I thought we were lucky.
Say hello to the newest member of the DC superhero universe. The first full trailer was just released for Supergirl. In it, we see pieces of Supergirl's origins before she arrived on Earth and how she gets caught up in an interstellar journey for justice. Australian actress Millie Alcock stars as the titular character alongside Matthias Schoenaerts, Jason Momoa, and more. Supergirl is set to hit theaters June 26th.
Well, Jeff, it is game on campus, I hear.
That's right, and everybody can check things out. That's right. We're at the Edwards School of Business on the USask campus with Jason and Ben, and we're talking about a game showcase. It's a computer game showcase. And first of all, generally speaking, what's it about?
This is an opportunity for anybody to join us here at the University of Saskatchewan to try 4 unique student-built games and take a look at the work that the students have done and the marketing materials that my students have put together, and just get an idea of kind of the cool things we're doing at the university.
Fair enough. And I know this is coming up on April the 7th, but how long have these students been working on these games?
So they've been working on the games since about middle of January. Okay. The beginning of the term, they had to form groups and do all the initial design and things like that. They've been implementing them since middle of January.
Isn't that a pretty fast timeline to try and come up with a game?
Timeline, yes. The objective of the course and these projects isn't necessarily to make something that's incredible in that time. It's to go through the entire design process, make design docs, prototype, implement, create art, kind of get everything in the pipeline and everything created in time for, I guess, next week.
All right, next week. And they also, and then your students, how to market these games.
That's exactly right. So we've been learning over the past 3 months the type of marketing constraints and the type of actions that you need to take as a marketer to bring a game to market. Learning, what is the genre that the game is in? How is that evolving as the developers make new decisions, and how do our marketing materials have to evolve with the design decisions that are being made?
All right, fair enough. Advertise on television, that's what I say. When do things take place, and does it cost anything to attend?
It's free for the public to attend. April 7th, starting at 11:30 right here at the Edwards School of Business. We'll be upstairs in our Moeller Resource Room, and that's where you can find us.
All right. So once again, the game showcase coming up on April 7th right here on campus.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day, and it's all about the great outdoors.
It certainly is. We're going to start off with this one, an interesting, basically, this comes from Tracy. Yesterday afternoon, after my bus route near Wilkie, nature can produce some cool pics. So obviously it was just melty enough, but still cold enough that things would freeze in a very interesting way on that bus tire. So there's that. Thank you, Tracy. The next one comes to us from Cindy, and now this one came in last week, I'll tell you that much. But Cindy says, strange cloud formation on the way home from Saskatoon, and it certainly is an interesting cloud formation. So thank you, Cindy, for that picture. And finally, well, look at this. This is from Bobby and Ruth, because Monday, this came in yesterday, a blizzard in a blizzard at the 8th Street Dairy Queen, and that's Ruth Thone and Bobby Waldner. So thank you for sharing that picture with us. Yes, I hope those treats were tasty. I'm sure they were, and they fit the time of day. Sure, why not? If you'd like to send an image to us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, lights, camera, pizza, the vending machine that's providing snacks and entertainment. Pizza vending machine on the University of Guelph campus is attracting plenty of new customers. It's all thanks to a doorbell camera, which has captured people's creativity while placing their orders. CTV's Spencer Turcott has the story.
It's pizza
pizza vending machine in Guelph has become a crowd favorite. What's not to love about a contraption that spits out 6 different kinds of pizzas, especially after a night of drinking? After 4 years on the University of Guelph campus, the operators of this pizza forno machine decided to document who is stopping by.
We've heard from students like how rowdy and funny you can get here at late at night.
So it's as easy as walking up, pressing the button. You hear the ding, wait for the pizza, and the fun begins. In the 3 minutes it takes for the machine to deliver the pizza, people have gotten quite creative in the videos.
Just this weekend, we had a band here that showed up and played a cover of Wonderwall.
Today's What began as some antics posted on the Guelph Pizza Forno social media accounts has turned into some impressive marketing.
It's become like a phenomenon. Like, we've only really been doing it for 2 weeks, and we've got, I don't know, like 800,000 video views. Like, it's definitely been, you know, a surge in sales. I mean, right now we're pretty much sold out.
The best video from each week is entered into a contest to win a free pizza. And marketing expert Brad Davis believes the Pizza Cam creators have struck gold with this idea.
I love it. I love the idea. The challenge with creativity is typically finding a new way to talk about your product.
These days, Davis says advertising campaigns can be costly and sometimes corny because we're used to seeing actors try to sell a product. In this case, you have videos of real people having fun while buying a product.
When you see something that effectively looks like kind of almost home movies, or there's kind of almost surveillance going on where people are just being natural, it can be very, very effective.
So, next time you're craving a slice and want to give the pizza vending machine a try, just remember, say cheese. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Guelph.
I just want to say, no matter where you go.
When we come back, a celebration of culture over the airwaves and later escalating people to the top in a whole new way.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at the rural forecast. And temperatures are warming up a little bit. Kindersley, 3 degrees, 2 in Outlook, 3 in Meadow Lake, but other places still close to that freezing mark. And that includes Hudson Bay at 2 degrees, -1 in Wynyard and in Watrous. And Melfort making our way down south, 10 degrees for Maple Creek, 7 in East End, Cypress Hills area, 6 degrees in Leader. But once again, as per usual, as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures do drop off. We're looking at minus temperatures, but just minus temperatures. On the -2, -1 side of things. Springside, cloudy skies and 0 degrees tomorrow, but it will be a bit on the breezy side, and that's just simply the way things are shaping up. And of course, Springside is one of the many communities where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Greetings, everyone. For many living on a First Nation in Canada, gaining a post-secondary education or training requires leaving home. White Bear First Nations is now developing and building a program focused on the future, which could someday allow many of their members to obtain the training and the jobs they want while staying closer to home.
David McIntyre is reading the weather in the Dene language, which will be broadcast across the province in just a few minutes. He has been speaking Dene on the radio for over 3 decades, one of many Indigenous languages which can be found on the airwaves.
I used both the English and the Dene before we were kind of shut down. We couldn't amplify our voice, and now I feel a lot of confidence.
Today, Indigenous languages are broadcast on television, radio, and through written word. Language speakers, storytellers, broadcasters, and journalists have gathered for the Picasquewin Conference to discuss Indigenous radio, a longtime medium used on Indigenous nations across North America.
They recognize the importance of reaching the community, especially where there's not broadband infrastructure in place, and we may not have access to reliable internet, and so often radio is the only way they can get their communication.
Bert Crowfoot has been in Indigenous media for nearly half a century. With a strong understanding of newspaper and radio, he is one of the keynote speakers of the conference. Crowfoot has helped build a highly successful network of radio stations mixed with Indigenous languages, English, and a wide range of music.
We've had a lot of other Indigenous communications groups come through. They come to us, they look at what we're doing, and we share. We don't charge anything. we share that information with anybody who comes to visit us.
Indigenous languages in Canada are in a critical state of endangerment, but are also experiencing strong revitalization efforts. Radio and podcasts are a key piece for language continuation for young learners.
There's a long history of finding ways to appropriate it and make it Indigenous and use it to, for preserving and expanding and making kids care about their languages and making them see there's cool people on TikTok, speaking in Inuktitut.
The Picasquay Conference was a 3-day event in Regina.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Statistics Canada released GDP numbers for January, and as Marilla Fernandez tells us, real gross domestic product was up 0.1%.
Canada made gains in mining, oil and gas extraction, and utilities, but there was a contraction in manufacturing. Specifically, motor vehicles and parts manufacturing dropped over 10%. That's the largest contraction since September 2021. Statistics Canada says holiday shutdowns at Ontario assembly plants lasted into January. Now, the good news is construction expanded by over 1% in January, and the retail sector was also positive. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 71.87. West Texas Intermediate is down $1.50 to 101.38. Western Canadian Select up over $2 to 83.39. And the TSX shot up 833 points, ending the day at 32,768. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.72 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.64.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco jumped $8.13 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $105.01. Coming up, when volunteers jump in to help. Then when scaling a mountain city is made easy.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here tonight on CTV, starting at 7 with your favorite show, Will Trent.
That's pretty good. High potential than R.J. Decker. He's solving crimes.
There you go.
He is.
Well, a kangaroo Joey is back with its owner after escaping a farm in Wisconsin. Chesney escaped last week when dogs approached his enclosure and started barking. He was gone and out of sight for days until volunteers started pouring in to help. Chesney is now home and is doing okay, though he's still going to be checked in with a vet just to be sure. But
gotta be better safe than sorry.
But Chesney's looking pretty happy.
Boing, boing,
yes.
boing.
Yeah.
Watch out for Sylvester. He'll think you're a giant mouse.
All right, well, China's mountain city is going to get just a little easier to scale. A surreal sight is lighting up the night in Chongqing as officials unveil what's being called the world's longest outdoor escalator. The massive structure is made up of 21 combined escalators spanning nearly 3,000 feet in length and climbing the height of an 80-story building. Whoa. The city is widely considered the world's real-life cyberpunk city due to its neon-lit skyscrapers and tech-forward infrastructure. I'd want to be on the side holding on, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I just think that's very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool is not what our temperatures are going to be. They're going to be cool-ish, but it won't be very cool. Let's take a look and see what we've got going tomorrow. At 9 a.m., -7 degrees. By noon, -3. Mid-afternoon, 0. By 5 o'clock, -1, as you can see. It'll be a bit of a breezy day tomorrow, so hold on to your hats.
I've just been informed that Chesney has a roommate named...
Renee Zellweger?
No, Kenny. All the research we do.
There you go.
Stories,
exactly.
Right?
Thank goodness for the I team.
Yes. Thanks for watching. Have a good show. A good night. Have a good night.